What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? You're on another episode of Chiefs Focus Live. You got JP, you got Caleb, you got Quentin. What's up, fellas?
Doing pretty good. You guys doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm happy. How about you, Quentin?
I'm doing pretty good. We got some Chiefs news to talk about, contract news, which is weird because usually we don't get contract news once the season starts. But Patrick Mahomes restructures contract. That's the first thing we're going to get to. We'll talk a little bit of defense, and we're going to finish the show off with a brand new segment. So stick around for that.
Yes. Patrick Mahomes. He is now the highest paid player in history over a 4-year span, which it's well deserved. His contract's worth up to $218 million over those 4 years. There's a reason why that. What's up, Philip? There was a reason why that was done. I'm glad they did it. It's well deserving, and it shuts a lot of naysayers up as well. But it clears up some cap space. Everybody's concerned about the cap now because they think it's going to be killing us for the next 4 years. You have to understand something. I want to spit this out really quick. His 10-year contract is still in effect.
Yes,
it's the same. Hey, what's up, Will? It's the same thing. The contract has not changed other than the money aspect of it. We can still convert his money to bonus structure. So no matter how you want to slice it, this is not going to affect our cap. The cap is a mythical number when it comes to the Chiefs. There's a lot of other teams that struggle with the cap. We do not. Quit worrying about it. That's real simple. I mean, it's a very simple thing. His contract is very, very flexible. So what they did was clear up a lot of space for us. And I know Chris Jones is probably looking at it and probably took a double take, which, hey, what's up, Chiefs Live? Which it is what it is. But we're good, man. It is what it is. It happens. He deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
We cleared up some space. He's a happy camper. We still got him for the next 10 years and beyond. To be honest, he's not going anywhere else ever. What do you guys think?
I think it's a great move. It's going to help out. I mean, it basically shows number one, Mahomes deserves that money. I mean, there's a quote that Clark Hunt said, even that's not enough money to say all the different things he's done for this team. Five straight AFC Championship games, 2 Super Bowl wins, another Super Bowl appearance where they lost. I mean, they've just done great things as completely turned the brand over in just a few short years where the Chiefs weren't talked about. You could have someone go around with a Chiefs gear and no one would talk to them in 2016, 2017. But now with the emergence of Mahomes, everyone's like, go Chiefs, or has something to say. Yeah. So it just kind of show you that this one man has completely changed everything. I mean, I knew the guy was a real deal when we could complete a 3rd and 7. I mean, for other teams, that's routine. I'm sorry, but Alex Smith just couldn't do it. But what we're going to see later is that Mahomes could make a 3rd and 20, and I even felt kind of comfortable. 3rd and 12. Yeah, there's a good chance we got this. So when we look at all these different things that come with this, I mean, it's a great move. And I know Mahomes, he's not trying to kill us in the money. He realizes there's different things that need to be done. Does this also free up a little bit of money for this year?
Yes.
Okay, so it's all going to work out in the end. It's going to come out of the wash eventually. And, I mean, he's just great to have for our team. Quentin, what you got?
Yeah, the money that it frees up is not a ton. I believe it's less than $5 million. I want to say it's $3 million. Change like 2.89 or something like that. But that's enough to go out and sign a Carlos Dunlap, perhaps.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I think that this is the Chiefs want some money throughout the season. Whether it's I'm going to go make a trade for the future, sort of like a Kadarius Toney last year. When you make a move midway through the season, and the conversations we were having were, look, he's going to be on this team for this year, but this is more of a move for the future, which it is. So maybe Kansas City does something like that. Maybe there's a veteran that you bring in, at week 6, you've got an injury. There's a guy that, you feel comfortable bringing in, and you're able to do it. So Kansas City loves having some of this free money.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I would say is this still has some of the, you're right, JP, in the sense that it's the same contract. There's a ton of the same mechanisms that are in it, right? His contract still guarantees 2 years in advance. All of that stuff is still in there. So you can still rework this contract moving forward. I expect them in about 4 years to redo this contract again. this was the conversation when it was done. This is a living organism of a contract. This is not set in stone. This is a contract that's going to keep moving. It's going to keep being done. We should be hearing talk about for the Patrick Mahomes contract basically every year, right? The conversation will be, do the Chiefs need to move some of his money around to go out and make a big signing, or are they good this year? So this is not surprising. It's just kind of surprising it happened and right before week 3. This is usually something that happens much earlier in the offseason process because then it allows you more money, more time to go and sign somebody. But, it is what it is. We'll see. I do expect the Chiefs to make a move at some point before week 8.
I will say this. I cannot be happy with the move until I hear Florio say he's happy with it. So I'm just putting it out there. No one got it besides Quinn. That's okay. As you guys know, he's been hateful on the Chiefs contracts and been trying to cause deception and tyranny. And it has not worked. So I wonder how he's doing with this whole thing.
Who's that?
Florio, Mike Florio.
Oh, look, man. I you know what? Every time somebody says his name, I actually get a cramp in my ass. He's like that wart that never goes away, the boil that never pops. I don't understand it either because he was very good friends with Brett Veach.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then after that Tyreek Hill situation and his mouth continually running, he really put a damper on his relationship with the Chiefs and Brett Veach.
The situation where you're saying the 49ers should basically try to hurt Mahomes to stop him, too.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
That was a big comment a lot of people were not happy with.
Yeah, that was wrong. But, Mike Florio, look, man, that's why the guy's a millionaire, because he's a clickbait artist. It is what it is. Let him say what he wants. He makes a lot of enemies, friends of his that now are enemies. He's done that on his own. To me, I could care less what he says. But the one thing that I will say is that, again, for anybody that came in late, it makes zero difference about this contract. It changes nothing other than gives us a little bit of extra money. And really, I think it's closer to the $4 million range when you consider everything, because some of that is incentive money as well. And then you can also convert some of his money. And look, to make it very easy for people to understand, either the cap pays it or it comes out of Clark Hunt's pocket separately, because that's what bonus structures do. When you get a bonus structure, the bonus comes out of the owner's pocket. It doesn't affect your cap. So understand that and move forward, because it's not going to affect us in any way. If anything, it's going to help us. With the differences between Chris Jones' situation and Veach assuming that he would have extra cash when he extended Chris Jones, and that not happening, he made 2 moves. He guaranteed us Thuney for the next 2 years. This year and next year, restructured him, and he restructured Mahomes, gave him a bigger contract. He's now the highest paid guy over the next 4 years, and actually highest paid contract in NFL history over a 4-year span. And we're still in a great position to go to the Super Bowl.
Oh, easily. Yeah, they're in a great position. I mean, from what I'm seeing right now, the only team that's still scaring me is the Dolphins. But again, we're only in week 2, about to be week 3. So a lot of stuff can happen. It can still change from this point out moving forward. So
I think our defense can shut them down. I really do.
Okay.
I'm serious. I'm a little nervous about them. I am. I'm not going to say I'm not. But I will say that our defense, the way they're playing right now, they're ranked 6th with DVOA. I think they're higher than that if you take all the statistics from each category of the defense. They're really kind of around 2nd behind the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are based upon a 40-0 blowout right now, and then also last week's win. But there's so many things to take out of what this team has done. And Patrick Mahomes himself said it. His words. The defense won this game for us. The way they are playing, once this offense gels, there is nobody that can stop us. We're going to be lethal. He's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with this offense. It just takes putting the right guys in the right position to win. I am very happy with who we have. If they go out and in fact, from what I've understood, they're looking at a defensive edge. If they're going to sign somebody, which, again, Carlos Dunlap, is the number 1 guy right now because he knows the system. He did a great job with us last year, and he also does a great job with mentoring the rookies. We have a great defensive line. Why not make it a little bit better?
Well,
the wide receivers will come around.
Well, and that's my question to you guys. I mean, I saw a couple hypothetical trades being thrown out there. Number one, I saw the Chiefs are apparently favored to get Mike Evans. They're at the top of the board. And then number two, and I don't know if this one is true, but apparently the Chiefs maybe or maybe not want Kyle Pitts. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on those?
Another tight end, but
But you need
He's
you can
he's
put him
a
as a
tight
wide
end on the
receiver, though.
roster only. He's a guy, he can go outside the slot.
he can.
I think he's more valuable than just a tight end.
And that's what I'm thinking. They can use him in so many different situations. So we'll start off with kind of the wide receiver, Mike Evans, and we'll move on over to Pitts. But what do you guys think about possibly bringing Mike Evans? I know he's going to probably want a new contract, but what are your guys' thoughts? Should we take him as a 1 year rental? What should be the process with this?
I don't think it's a good idea. First of all, I don't know how we could afford him. Even if we had $2 million or $4 million, we couldn't afford him on a trade really right now, unless we decided to extend him, because we're not going to pay off his contract with what he's got coming this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a good idea to sign a veteran wide receiver that doesn't know the system, that hasn't been in the system. I don't know what it's going to benefit us other than tell our guys that we have right now, sorry, you're just not cutting it. We're bringing somebody else in that may not be able to do it because he doesn't know our system. That's just my take on it. I feel like these guys will eventually gel. And when they do, they're already starting to. That was pretty obvious in this game. You're right, Philip. He would cost too much. It'd just be too much money. I think that's just people blowing smoke up other. And not only that, with the emergence of him, he's done too well.
And that's what I'm saying too. He's going to want some money, and the only team I could see him possibly going to would be the Bears because they need some more receiver help.
What do they need?
And again, will he go there? I mean, that's the thing too. A team who needs some wide receiver help would need him. Now, I don't know who that team would be. And the Bucks look good. Start off 2-0. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're seeing they may have something out there. It's not the first time we've seen a team do pretty good, start 2-0 and is in a good spot. I mean, the year the Chiefs lost to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, the Broncos started off 3-0, and we all knew that was a phony 3-0.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything after that. So, again, it just kind of shows strength for schedule and all the different things that go along with that.
Yeah.
Look, in terms of making a trade for a guy like a Mike Evans, I think that it would be difficult to make the move for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not so sure that you have the capital to make a move like that. The problem is that the trade deadline is at week 8?
It should be at week 10, but
week 10.
Yeah,
okay.
Week 8.
By that time in the AFC or the NFC South, the Buccaneers might still be in the playoff hunt with that crappy division. So let's say they're right around 500 at that point. Do you really think anybody's running away with that division? I know I believe the Falcons are going to win it. You guys have picked the Saints, but with the way the Buccaneers are playing, are there really a chance that the Buccaneers are going to go fire sale mode in that division? So if you make that trade, you're going to be taking him from a team that thinks that they still have a chance. That means that he's going to come at a premium.
I agree.
So you've got that going against you. 2, there are chances that if he becomes available, how many other teams are going to try and want to snag him up?
Well, and that's another thing too. I don't mean to interrupt you. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, how many other teams are going to be in the hunt for a guy like that, right? And then 3, you brought this up earlier. He wants a new contract. So if you're going to sign him, he's almost on the edge of 30. I think he's either 30 or turning 31, something like that. At the end of the season.
Now,
So even if you figure out a way to sign him to a contract, it's going to be expensive, and you're going to have a post-30 wide receiver with an injury history on your roster. I just don't think it makes sense. It's one of those, you see the name, you see the oh my God factor, and you click on it.
Yeah.
I will say this too, and this is one thing, and JP has enlightened me and told me different things. It would not be surprised if the agent is getting someone to put this information out there because he's been wanting a good contract too. He has proven, he's basically said, I want to be here for life. And he gave him a deadline, didn't get it to him. And they're kind of weighing their options. So I don't know. But I do believe if push comes to shove and let's say the Buccaneers kind of want to restart, they could get some capital, some draft capital, make some moves. I mean, you could say he's easily worth it.
I just
pick at the most if you want.
I think it just depends on where they're at come week 7. I really do. I think it's going to end up, and that's if they trade to anybody for that matter, because he is really the only shining light they have on their offensive as far as their wide receiver core.
Somehow they're doing good. I don't know how and why, but somehow they're doing good.
I don't know either, but it'd be like us saying, okay, you know what, we might as well just get rid of Patrick, because he's the only shining light on our offense in a lot of people's eyes. It's just not. I don't think it would be feasible for them to do unless they were in a position come week 7 that they were just getting their asses handed to them. They had absolutely no shot of making the playoffs if they just went on a 0-5 run.
They're going to be in the hole. They won't recover.
Exactly. That's the only way it would happen. I just don't see it happening. And the Kyle Pitts thing, I mean,
yeah, let's do that. Yeah, what do you guys think of Kyle Pitts? Go ahead, JP.
I guess if it came really cheap, then maybe. But I don't see the upside right now when you've got so many other guys that are in that position that are playing very well. You got Noah Gray. Kelsey's going to come back full strength. I just don't know that. And I understand he can play, the slot. He can do a lot of different things. But he's still not that wide receiver that everybody seems to think we need, is what I'm getting at.
Well, I feel like he can still be a reliable addition to the offense that can help the Chiefs in different situations. And I feel like I just don't understand what Atlanta – I thought they'd been able to figure it out by now. They're showing some signs that they can do some things. So unless they really think it's not going to work out, they're going to keep him. But I know Atlanta, they're just going to take the next best offensive player next year. I mean, they've kind of done that the last couple of years. They've been kind of sitting a force. So unless there comes an issue where they can't get a resolution on Kyle Pitts, maybe the Chiefs come in and offer him something that's going to work out. But again, it's going to depend on many different variables and factors.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think they're leaning toward a veteran defensive edge. And the only reason I say that is just because they want somebody to mentor up these guys that are already standing out, showing up. Mm-hmm. Why not get somebody in here that can rotate in and out and is familiar with the system and just help them grow? We had that with Frank Clark. We had that with Dunlap last year. They were, both of them were like instrumental in the growth of Karlaftis. And I think they still need that. They still got a lot of young guys. And I did hear that they were looking at defensive edge. Let's see what happens. If they go out and they bring Carlos back in. I don't think Carlos is going to bulk to come back to a team that he did very well with and grab another ring. What's up, Scott? How you doing, man? I don't see why he would complain about it. I mean, he's not making anything right now. So what's the difference? One thing I really want to bring up really quick. Man, I don't ever want to see the video again, but I really feel bad for Chubb.
Yeah, that was a terrible injury. His knee went.
Oh my God!
His knee.
I mean, he's definitely out for the season.
Yeah,
and I can't believe the internet is still blowing that thing up all over the place. Even ESPN said they weren't going to replay it, and that was the last place I'd ever think that would not replay this over and over and over again. But you got the Florios of the world out there that just want to keep popping, the Barstools that want to keep throwing that shit up there. He doesn't need any more reminders of what happened to his leg, and neither do the fans for that matter. I mean, when Pittsburgh fans that do not like the Cleveland Browns are crying,
they were like, I feel bad. Yeah. There's some bad blood there.
Yeah. So. I feel bad for the guy. Hey, you know what, though? If anything, somebody brought this up to me. I don't know if there's how much bad blood there is between Kareem Hunt and the Cleveland Browns, but he may end up back there because he does know their system. So that wouldn't be a bad thing for Kareem for the rest of the season. But
today I heard an interesting take on that.
What do you got?
If the Browns were to trade for Jonathan Taylor,
I heard that too.
Because we think, at least from the outside looking in, that Taylor can play, and you've got an opportunity to he's not playing because of his beef with Irsay and the Colts organization. So this would be an opportunity to just go and show the world that you still got it. And, maybe you can get a contract on the back end of that. So,
well, would you give it that draft capital though?
He's literally not playing for your team. So anything.
No, I
you
mean
can
the
get for him.
Browns. Would you really take him for a 1-year rental?
I mean, look, the Browns want to win now, right? The
Mhm.
front office and the head coaching are running out of time in order to keep their jobs. If you're,
You know, the hot seats are. So
I
Well,
mean, if
I feel like
you're,
it's. Go
I
ahead.
don't think they're their seat's not hot, but if you have a bad season, that thing can get warm pretty quickly because you're a head coach was supposed to be a top 10 quarterback and your quarterback has come out and
Mm.
flopped. They're not cutting the quarterback. They're going to cut you, the head coach.
that's
So
exactly
a good
right.
they're going to
point,
cut
yeah.
you, the GM who made the trade. So go out and get yourself an opportunity to make a push in a AFC North that has been competitive, but the top dogs looking pretty weak. The Ravens have continued to have injury problems, and the Steelers' offense has looked bad. So give yourself an opportunity to push yourself through that glass ceiling to become the top dog, no pun intended, in the AFC North. And maybe a Jonathan Taylor can do that.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think Kareem Hunt could do it for him. He
I
did
don't know.
very
I
well
think
when
there's
he
a
was there.
reason that they didn't sign him back up. I think that he sort of lost a step, and they saw that.
That could be something. That could be something.
I heard there was a little bit of bad blood, but he was just
I
tired
was
of being the
convinced.
second fiddle. But
And he wants the number one job too, and I don't blame him. But I also feel like too, after the whole situation with Kansas City, he's just not been the same guy. I mean, we've seen some glimpse of it in Cleveland. Cleveland, but just not been the same guy. So
yeah, it's hard to it's hard when you're a running back that you are, you're getting 20% of the snaps or 15% when you're especially when you're a running team to a degree. And you're that guy that cools off, heats back up, cools off, heats back up. It's just hard. But I mean, when he was with Kansas City, he was unstoppable. But he used him a lot in a lot of different scenarios, to where they basically just used him in the run game when Chubb was tired, and that was really kind of how they played it out for him. But look, Deshaun Watson. I don't care what anyone says, and I will be the first one to, because I was a Deshaun Watson fan as far as a player was concerned, and when he came out, I thought he was a second coming of Mahomes. I mean, he was that good to play with such a terrible football team, had one good weapon, and still came out on top all the time. And then now he just looks like a guy that, to me, he almost looks washed up. He looks like he's lost speed. He's lost.
Needs some help.
He does. Yeah, he just doesn't seem like he has the tenacity, the will. It's like he got that fat contract, and it's like, oh well. I'm guaranteed my money, so
I still believe there's some rust, and I think it's going to be a couple more weeks.
Man,
last
a lot
year
of
it was kind of stopped. Well, he had a bunch of start, stop, and then he kind of got back into it. But again, they got some weapons. I think they're going to be fine, but I think we're not going to see him kind of have that turnaround to like week 6. We're going to be a little increments each week. Week 6, I think there's going to be a coming out party.
Well, let's hope so for him. I mean, for his sake.
Yeah.
I'd rather anybody in that division win besides Cincy, so it is what it is.
Well, the way it's looking, it's probably going to be like that. The way Joe Burrow's been playing, his calf injury is not doing him any favors right now. So they're going to probably struggle for a bit.
Well, here's my thing. When they asked him prior to this week 2, if he was ready to go, I'm 100%. I'm great. I'm good. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm 100%. I'm good to go. Then when he got his ass handed to him, my calf's bothering me.
I think he always was trying to say, I can do this, which I agree. I'm happy for him, but I also feel like, too, that calf injury is going to nag, and he may get that Achilles torn.
That's the problem with it right there.
And that's the thing. They gave him all that money, and but we know that when the calf strain, that puts weakness on that Achilles, and once that snaps, not a great combination.
Nope, ask Aaron.
And I think they play on turf too, so it could be even worse for him.
Yep.
So I don't know what they're going to do. They gave him a lot of money. I think he can do a lot of great things for that team, but also they can't pay everybody. When like Jamar Chase is trying to figure out who's going to set the floor, you can't get that much money to Burrow and Chase. You got to figure out a happy medium deal. Medium. There's only so much money to go around.
Absolutely. They're going to struggle, and I think this year they're going to regress a little bit. And if it is his injury, that's why. But I feel like they're going to – and look, man, Orlando Brown Jr. is doing them absolutely zero favors, which we knew he wasn't going to. Burrow is running for his life all the time because of him. So I don't know. I think they're going to regress a little bit, and it's not because whatever. I just feel like it is what's going to happen. They'd always start off slow anyway. I mean, I think the year they went to the Super Bowl, didn't they start off at like 1-4 or something? 1-5.
I think so, something like that.
Something like that. So who knows? I mean, they're talking about bringing in a backup quarterback, another backup, like bringing in a guy to start in case he can't, because I don't know how much faith they have in their backup. But Case Keenum's name was thrown around a couple of times, so we'll just have to see what happens. But anyway, moving forward, let's get back to the Chiefs really quick. I don't know why everybody's so concerned with this wide receiver room. I know that they feel like everybody sees the little bit of struggles that they had in a lot of struggles they had in week one. Mm-hmm. Tony redeemed himself. Sky Moore redeemed himself. Rashee Rice still played well. Kelsey was on a snap count.
And caught a touchdown.
I don't see this being a problem moving forward. It just takes one game, the Chicago Bears, for everybody to gel very well, and then it's just going to continue to spiral. And I think that's what's going to happen. And this might be the game that we see a lot more of Justin Ross, because it is an NFC team that is struggling. Why not put the guy out there for a few more snaps? I think it was in a total of 12 series last week.
Okay.
And was targeted, I think, two times maybe, or three at the most.
He has 1 target, 1 catch on the year for 6.
Yeah, but he was in 12 snaps last week, I mean. So, or in for 12 series, and for the entire game, or 12 snaps. So, I don't know. I think they need to put him in a little bit more. He runs great routes. Give him a little opportunity to, especially if they're up, our defense keeps them to 0 or 3 points or whatever like they've been doing. And we're playing a team that is completely subpar compared to the Jaguars. If we can keep them down to 3 or 6 points and we're up 21, 21 points, 24 points, put him in there and let him see what he can do.
Okay.
I think he deserves it.
No biases there.
I like Justin Ross. Get off of him, man.
What? Really? Nobody told me.
He's been all summer.
Wow.
Hey, man, I got a feeling that kid.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, man, that kid's got skill. I'm telling you, he's got skills. It's just gonna, man. When that kid and the rest of this offense starts clicking in this Mahomes style, Andy Reid style offense, it's going to be scary. This team is going to be stupid. I think this is probably going to go down as one of the best defenses we've ever had.
Look, we've been saying it for a couple years now, right? We talked about how Josh Allen has had a top 5 defense, and look what he hasn't been able to do. And we always finish that up, what if Patrick Mahomes had a top 5 defense? He would tear the world on fire. Everything would burn down. Well, there's a chance that Kansas City may end the year with that top 5, top 10 defense. I mean, I really do think that there's
good chance.
This linebacking core is one of the best. Is probably the best position group on the team on the defense. You've got some safeties and corners that have aged up a little bit and sort of know how to run the defense, right? We've talked about all last season. Man, this cornerback room is really young. It's really young. Now if we're moving to the defensive line, we got Chris Jones back, and he was just ready to play. Right?
Oh, my God.
He had a rocket up his ass. He was ready to come out and play.
Yep.
Yes, he did.
George Karlaftis is picking up right where he left off. FAU, who has surprised me on his ability to get off the edge, right? I thought he would struggle with that. He missed a lot of the off-season programming. He missed some training camp because he had a hand surgery. And he's been limited in his snap count, but that's okay. I don't got a problem with that. But he's been effective when he has been out there. So that's what you want to see. And then, of course, this team's going to get another boost after week 6 when you get Charles Omenihu.
Yeah.
So this team is it will only get better.
It can only get better.
So this is the kind of defense that you want to look at. I was concerned moving into the year about what this pass rush would look like. It's week 2, but you face one really good offensive line and at least one decent offensive line. So they've already proven me wrong. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I can live with that. Continue to do what you're going to do because this defense has looked really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're stout. There's no doubt about it. And like you said, there's no way. All they're going to do is get better. I mean, those guys that were rookies last year were no longer rookies after week 8, and now they just look like they're just seasoned veterans. And for the most part, I guess I'm more astounded that a young group of a young secondary that we have has come out, and honestly, probably I don't know of a better secondary in football right now through 2 games.
Chiefs are in a good spot. Only allowed 2 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 rushing, and then 3 field goals on Sunday. That's pretty doggone good if you don't say, I do say so myself.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really complain about that. This is without a doubt the best defense Mahomes has ever had. There's no question about that. This is the best defense. In fact, last year I think was probably the best defense he ever played with. And they came in 11th overall last year. Yeah. So they're just going to get better.
And the crazy part is that usually when we talk about a Spags defense, right, we talk about ignore the first half of the year.
Yeah.
Look what happens after week 8. They figure it out. They start to really improve, right? There's almost like from week 1 to week 8, there's a linear progression. Oh, they're getting better. They're getting better. And all of a sudden it's exponential growth.
Yeah.
And this year there hasn't been that ramp up period. It's just been out of the gate. Let's go. Everybody's ready to go. And so I think it's because you had so much youth on your team last year and there wasn't that much turnover for your starters. And you have been ready to go. So,
and you got a great leader in the secondary with Justin Reed.
Yeah,
I think he's a great secondary leader.
Yes,
he really is.
And Nick Bolton doing great things with the linebacking core.
Yeah, now you got Chris Jones back. So
now you got Chris Jones back. So you add 1 veteran defensive edge on this team to coach up some of these guys and to take some of the snaps off and keep fresh legs in there. Holy crap! And then you got a Minihue coming back. This is dangerous. It's a dangerous football team, and people know it. That's the funny part is people can talk all this shit they want about how our offense has played the first couple of games.
The defense kept them in it.
Yeah, and when that offense – and they know the offense is going to click with Mahomes and Andy Reid. They know that's going to happen. Please keep talking all that crap because when it happens, you guys are all going to go home and cry in your pillows and wish to God that you never opened your mouth. So – anyway, moving forward, what is your segment, Quentin?
Westward expansion is what we're calling it right now. We are going to look at the rest of the AFC West, and thankfully, they are all west of us, so the name works. Yay! Creativity. So we are going to talk about the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders, specifically in that order. Just give some thoughts. We're not going to spend too much time on each team because none of them really matter in the grand scheme of things. But, we have to care about them because, we face them twice a year. Yeah. So let's go ahead and start with the Broncos, who are currently in last place in the division. Turns out maybe Sean Payton isn't as good as everybody thought he was. They are riding the struggle bus, and they are in the front seat. They're probably driving the damn thing. So Russell Wilson, I thought on the first game looked a little better, and I still think that he showed off the power in his arm, but with that Hail Mary they threw late in the game, and he's moving around in the pocket. I don't know if you guys remember this, but during the offseason, I said one of the things that they have to do is Russell Wilson has to be able to move in the pocket. He's not a pocket passing quarterback. He's a guy that moves and manipulates the pocket. He needs to be able to bring that back. They brought it back, but it's this wide receiver room, Garbageville. Offensive line, Garbageville. Running backs, I couldn't tell you any of the running backs on that damn team. So this offense is just bad. And the defense has some pieces here and there, but nothing.
No, they gave up all their pieces. They got 1 or 2, but yeah, you're right. They gave up most of their pieces.
Yeah. And maybe the most impactful thing is simply that they've lost the first 2 games were won against beatable opponents.
Yes.
Right? They faced the Raiders week 1. They lost 16-17, which was the exact same score they lost to last year to the Raiders. And 2, they faced the Commanders, which was a winnable game, but once again you lost, and both of those were at home. So you are down 2 home games already, and you couldn't come away with one, and you lost by 1 point in each of those games.
Yeah.
Take it away.
You want to go, Caleb?
You go, JP. I'll go last. That's fine.
Look, I was under the impression that Sean Payton would make a little bit of a difference, and he has a very little bit of a difference. I thought that they would probably come in second or third in the division. I still think they'll be second or third because the Raiders are just a hot mess. But I don't see the upside on either part, whether it be Russell Wilson or bringing Sean Payton in to make this team any better. I just don't see it. Sean Payton, and I said this before, and everybody said I was crazy. Sean Payton was used to working with one guy that came in at an extremely high level and was able to run the offense for him, and that was Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson did not have that in Seattle. Again, for the I sound like a broken record. He didn't have that in Seattle. He was a piece of a very good football team for about 6 years. And then as that football team broke down, he went down with it. And if you guys remember, his last 2 seasons in Seattle, he threw for like 18 touchdowns. And then I think the other, and 2,600 yards. And another season, I think he threw for 21 touchdowns maybe, or 16 touchdowns. I can't remember. But they were both really bad seasons. And he had DK Metcalf. He had Tyler Lockett. He had guys out there that could move the needle if he was good enough to get the ball to him. He just fell apart. It is what it is. Pete Carroll ran that team. Geno Smith made him look like an idiot when he left there. He made him look like a third string 45-year-old quarterback that was just trying to hang on to something. And honestly, it's kind of boiled over to the Broncos. Yeah, he's moving a little bit more. He lost a little bit of weight. You know, he's still got the Jay-Z Beyonce complex. Although Sean Payton took most of his amenities away. You know, he doesn't have his office anymore. He doesn't have his personal chef. He doesn't have his assistants. He doesn't have all the things that he was brought in to have. I don't know if that made him a little more spiteful or a little more arrogant, or if it's just he sucks. But he is not the quarterback that everybody assumed he was. He had way too many great pieces around him when he went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Beast mode. All the guys that brought him a fucking amazing defense. He's just not that guy. I'm sorry, but he's not. Derek Carr is a better quarterback, and I can't believe I just – oh, God, that hurt a little bit. I'm going to throw up. I can't believe I just said that. But Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. He is. Plain and simple. They're going to end up probably third because I think somehow, some way, the Chargers are going to get their act together to some degree in this division. I think the Raiders are just going to Raider. So that's where I put them right now.
I agree with most things you said. I mean, when I saw the Hail Mary and then I saw them miss the 2-point conversion, I'm like, somebody check on the Broncos fan. But look, they have a lot of problems they need to fix and a lot of issues are there. I will say this. I think that eventually Sean Payton then will turn around. This year. There's going to be some issues. But I will see that they're noticeably better. They're noticeably better, in my opinion. This isn't the Broncos of old now. I did say in the offseason I would not be surprised if they steal a game from the Chiefs this year just due to how the way this rivalry has been, because I'm putting in air quotes, because it's been a one-sided rivalry where we've seen pretty much for the most part the Chiefs have smacked around the Broncos. And even though games were competitive, the Broncos just come that much short and they get all mad and angry and they just get all frustrated. And this is good for the Chiefs fans because all the years of Peyton Manning and John Elway terrorizing us, now we've been terrorizing them. So I believe at the end of the day, when I look at these different things that are going on with this Broncos team, they're just going to struggle this year. Yeah, they may have some moments. If they somehow make the playoffs, I'm going to be like, wow. But again, they are going to struggle this year. They are going to struggle. It's going to be a lot of learning experience, but eventually I think Sean Payne can turn it down. But this year, again, it's going to be some learning experience. So that's why I say that.
Yeah. All right, next team.
Next team, because the alphabet says so, we're moving on to the Chargers, the team with no fan base, the team that has broken all-time NFL record. I don't know if you guys heard this or not. The Chargers are the only team in NFL history to be 0-2, to have no turnovers, and score 24 points a game. To average 24 points or more than 24 points a game and to still be 0-2. The NFL has been around for quite a while, and the Chargers found a way. Congratulations.
Let me throw in another quick important fact. One year, the Chargers had the best offense and the best
defense and missed the playoffs.
They have the 31st ranked special team, so it does matter. So the Chargers are just going to acquire all these weird stats like the Infinity Stones.
The Chargers are going to Charger, and that's the theme of talking about the Chargers. They have talent, but it just seems like they can never put it together. Brandon Staley, I'm on board. Brandon Staley is a bad head coach. You have one of the more talented quarterbacks in the NFL, and it doesn't matter that when the Chargers come to Arrowhead, it's a tough game because they play us hard. The Chargers are a mediocre football team at best. I don't have them making the playoffs, but geez, the Chargers are just going to Charger.
I still think they're going to. I feel like they're going to turn themselves around a little bit. I feel like, what's up, Brad? I think that Justin Herbert is a very competitive guy. I feel like they can turn their offense around a little bit. I don't know what they can do about their defense because they're just downright bad. Hopefully they can turn things around. I just don't see them coming in dead last. I think they're going to be in a dogfight between the Broncos and the Chargers for second and third. Doesn't mean they'll make the playoffs, but second and third can be some really low numbers, some really bad games, depending on how you look at it. But it's hard for me to believe that Justin Herbert is going to fold. Now, we talked about this before with the Chargers, and I was really surprised that he signed a contract with them. I know it's his first contract. He can get a few years in, get his bag, and then move on. I'm just, hypothetically speaking, I'm wondering how long he's going to hold out if this team continues to fall apart. I wonder how long he's going to be able to handle playing for a team that just outright sucks and can't get him where he needs to be. When he's doing everything he can possibly do, and they're just not helping, I don't know. I don't know how long. I think if he was with a different football team, and I could throw out a few names, even the Rams for that matter, he'd be – man, can you imagine him in the San Francisco 49ers system?
Hold on. Who with the 49ers?
Justin Herbert.
I mean, it would be –
that'd be pretty good. Now, I don't think they're going to do any trades like that, but
I don't either, but I'm just saying, I mean, think about how he would be in a different system with a totally different system with a different coaching staff, somebody that understands his game, understands how to put a defense together, understands all three phases of the game, and puts it all together at one time. And they don't have to all be excellent. They just have to be average or a little above. If you could do that, he could be a winner.
Yeah. I think it's the team. I mean, I'm glad he got his money, but I do believe he needs to go to a team that's surrounding him with weapons and a good coaching staff. And it came down to it. And let's say a year or two from now, the 49ers want to make that move, they could do that. But he has to be with a team that's going to give him a chance to win. No offense to the Chargers. They have all these pieces, but all these pieces end up getting hurt and broken by the end of the year, and then nothing happens great. So yeah.
Okay, I don't know who said that, Brad, that he can't see the field. Does he have a vision issue?
No, they're saying he can't read defense. I know what Brad's referencing. I saw the tweet the other day. The guy can't read defense, doesn't really know what's going on. He's not that great compared to Tua, which is, I'm going to say this. I think he's better than Tua, but again, we're seeing two different teams, two different philosophies, and we're seeing how they're doing as a whole.
Well,
The
okay,
Chargers, if you look at a boat, the Chargers have more holes in that boat that's sinking compared to the Dolphins. It's more
oh
sturdy.
God, I mean, for Christ's sake, you got all the offensive weapons in the world with the Dolphins. He doesn't have that, and look, the Dolphins doesn't have the greatest defense, but they have a hell of an offense. I mean, anybody could look good in that system. Any average quarterback can look really good with the wide receivers that they have. Tua is an accurate passer. There's no doubt about that. He's very accurate. But when you're throwing to a wide open wide receiver almost on every down, it's pretty hard not to be accurate.
Yeah.
The only one that I've seen that wasn't accurate was Lamar Jackson his first 2 years in the league, throwing to wide open wide receivers that were wide open by 15 yards, and he overthrew him, threw 15 yards to the left, got intercepted when a guy was by himself. I don't know how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Tua's got – I don't know. Tua's a good quarterback, but I don't know if he's going to make the long run with anybody. I feel like if that offensive line breaks down, he's done for. But I think Herbert is a very tough player. I don't know if it's the truth that he can't read offenses or read defenses. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think he has the play calling or the weapons to be able to make the correct throws.
He's got the weapons. And Keenan Allen, Mike Williams.
Okay, he's 140 years
Johnson.
old. They're both of those guys are aged, slow.
That is a great group of weapons. That doesn't even include guys like Austin Eckler.
Yeah,
right?
Eckler's out. But,
who is the best, second best receiving running back in the NFL?
Well, Eckler's out though. He wasn't playing last week.
Yeah, he has a ankle injury.
Yeah, he's got an ankle injury. And Mike Williams, I'm sorry, but and the play calling's horrid. It's fucking Brandon Staley. But Mike Williams is old. He's proven that he's slowing down. He's not a guy that says, oh, maybe he's slowing down. No, he's slowed down. I'm sorry. They're just not the wide receiver crew that are – because of their name, everybody thinks they're great, but they're not that great. They proved that last year too. They're just not as good as they used to be.
I would take Mike Williams over our number 2 receiver.
Who's our number 2?
Exactly.
Anyone else? Everyone else?
I wouldn't, because Mike Williams is too injury prone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not here in Kansas City.
He's very limited in his.
I can guarantee you we would not stab him in his lung.
Well, probably not. But I think he's very limited in his play calling knowledge, simply because he's played for the same team for so long, and it's very, very limited. It's a limited offense. And I guess that's the difference, is it's so limited that it's a detriment to them. You can have a simple offense and say, okay, this is working for us. But when you got a 30-year-old and a 31-year-old wide receiver that are injury prone that only know simple, and you got a quarterback that can get you the ball 70 yards downfield if you could just get open, and maybe an offensive line that would help him just a little bit more so he doesn't run for his life all the time. Yep. That would be huge. That would be a huge help. I'm not big on either one of their wide. In fact, both of them were on the trading block at the beginning prior to the season, so they didn't have a choice but to re-sign him because nobody wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't see the upside either one of those guys. If they had a couple of younger wide receivers in there that were, good, that still had route running abilities and the ability to get downfield quicker, I'd say that they'd have a better chance. Now, the one thing I will say, and this is going to be a crazy thing, Friday night, I went and met with someone on a business situation, and I was at the Red Rock Hotel and Casino here in Las Vegas. We were inside a restaurant, and we were sitting at the bar eating, and this woman that was sitting next to us, she looks down behind like the back of the restaurant, and then she looked at me, and she looked back down there again, and then she looked at me, and the guy that was sitting with me goes, "What the hell's going on?" I said, "I have no clue." Well, here comes this guy walking towards me, and he's giving me kind of a glare, and I thought, that's weird. And then he got close to me. It was Justin Herbert. He was with another guy and a guy in a suit. I don't know if he was working on a commercial, if they were working on a business deal. I have no idea what they were doing because he was playing in Tennessee, so he had to have flown either that night or the next morning to go out. But it was absolutely Justin Herbert. And as he walked by, I thought, why the hell is he giving me a dirty look? And I looked at the lady, and she goes, "That's Justin Herbert." And I said, "It is." And he walked on by, and I said, "I don't know why he was giving me the glare." And she goes, "I think maybe it's your hat." And I forgot I was wearing my Chiefs hat.
Yeah.
I didn't even think
That'll
about
do it. That'll do it.
And
He's just jealous that Mahomes has fans.
it might be it. But it was absolutely him. So I don't know what he was doing there.
No,
given
Italy's
the
not
fact
that
it
far
was
from. It's like a 3-hour drive.
to Tennessee.
And
no,
you were in Tennessee.
No, he had to play in Tennessee.
Oh,
on
they have
Sunday.
airplanes, bro.
I know, but it was just weird to me that he wasn't with the team and he was doing something separate at Red Rock Casino on a Friday night. And it wasn't like he was drinking or doing. I think they were just there eating and maybe going over whatever they were going over.
Probably a business deal, things I got to be taken care of. So
could have been, yeah. But it was just strange to me, and I don't know what he was doing. I have no idea, but it definitely was him. So actually, I was unsure of myself at first. So after he left, you can open the door and walk out into the casino. I just kind of got up and walked out, and I looked again, and it absolutely was him. So
interesting.
He's not as tall as I thought he was.
Yeah,
I will say that. I thought he was taller than he is, but seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
No, I didn't, Brad. I swear I did not say Mahomes owned you. I didn't say anything. I didn't even know it was him at first until I didn't even know he was there. I couldn't figure out why this lady was looking at me, looking at back, looking at me, looking back, and I thought, okay, well, now I know. So anyway, moving on.
Let's get our final thoughts about the Chargers. I mean, no, not Chargers. The Raiders. Yes, go ahead, Quentin.
The Raiders. Okay, the current AFC West number 1 seed. I almost said Oakland. The Las Vegas Raiders, who are 1-1 and beat the Broncos by 1 point. Look, I'll make mine quick. I don't believe in their head coach, and I believe their team is going to fall apart by the midpoint of the season. So they're going to finish last in the West. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, you want me to go or you go?
Oh, dude, yeah, same thing. Devontae Adams will be traded at the deadline to a team that really needs help with wide receiver.
I agree.
And not Hunter Henry. Renfrow will be gone as well.
I agree.
Yeah, they just 100%. Got smoked by the Bills.
Oh, smoked. Yes. Smoked. They were charcoaled. They were caught on fire. It was a dumpster fire from the start to the finish. Jimmy G proved exactly who he is. Josh McDaniels proved exactly who he is. And for the Bills to put that on you after what they just came off of and Josh Allen's shitty performance, I'm sorry. They suck. They're going to be dead last. They don't win 5 games. That's. I've been saying 4. I'll give them 5. That's it. As far as I'm going with it.
Okay.
They're a terrible football team.
Yeah, and they beat the Broncos by 1 point. They got smoked by the Bills. Their offensive. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo already missed a series because of an injury he got during the Broncos game. They looked pathetic. Absolutely pathetic against the Bills. They couldn't do anything on offense. They couldn't do anything on defense. I mean, it was bad for them. Great for me and us. Yeah. But I mean, there's nothing really else to say about the Raiders. There's really not a lot of positives you can pull from that Bills game.
No, and I don't think it's going to get any better. Being here and listening to all the media, and it was kind of crazy because usually the media is trying to at least be somewhat
positive,
I guess. But all they kept saying was the Raiders got blown out by the Bills. The Raiders got blown out by the Bills. I mean, it was like it was a thrashing. I mean, it was on and on. All these different, makeshift sports commentators that they have here. And I was like, wow. I mean, even the head anchor was saying, man, the Raiders got their butts kicked. And I was like, whoa, hey, take it easy. I know it's Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have kind of one final thought before they ended. And this is a song my dad would sing after beating us in Madden. He would always sing this song. Guess it's over. Call it a day. Sorry it had to end this way. Goodbye, goodbye, Raiders. It's not going to be a great season for you. So guess it's over. Just call it a day. Sorry it had to end this way. That's pretty much going to be summaries of their season.
Hey, man, if they end up in a situation come week 7 that they're still a 1-win team or even a 2-win team, you might as well figure they're going to tank this season and just go out and get everybody new. They're going to go for their draft picks and be done with it. It's just what they're going to do.
At that point, so
yeah. So, well, anyway, with that being said, I don't know what else we got. We're happy with the Mahomes deal. We're happy we got a little bit of cash in the bank. Expect maybe a defensive edge coming in. Maybe just maybe a wide receiver, but I almost doubt it at this point. But you never know what's in Beach's mind. I just kind of hear things here and there. But with that being said, we appreciate everybody for joining. I don't know if anybody joined in on the PSF app on Sunday. It was a good time. We got to do a game, basically a Manning cast. It's a game cast. And if you sit in on it, sometimes you'll get pulled up. You get to talk. You get to do whatever you want. Make sure you download PSF, the PSF app on your phone. And then all you have to do is join Chiefs fans and follow us and I'm going to show you guys what the app looks like so you know. Just follow the Chiefs follow the Chiefs fans app, and then looks like this if anybody can see it. Just join that app. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And we're doing Power Fans right now, so anybody that joins, interacts, does all that stuff, you're going to be a Power Fan. And at some point, we're going to be giving something away between now and the end of the season. So make sure you download the app and join. With that being said, we appreciate everybody for jumping on, and we will talk to you guys again on Thursday. Peace out, everybody.